Well, this is the costly kind of production. The cost will be properly calculated when I've got access to this communication to the headquarters of Tesco. Now, there is the Sunday Times. How Labour got too cozy with the penthouse peer. It's a piece by Oliver Shah. And I'm quoting, I don't accept the word Lord, but I'm quoting. Ali is the multimillionaire youth TB pioneer and Labour Party donor who has given Keir Starmer and others in his cabinet gifts and free accommodation. What is his motivation? And how did he become so enmeshed in the Prime Minister's high command? There are 2 pages almost, and there is on the right side of that 2-page spread the quotation of the letter by Rosie Duffield, Canterbury MP, who has told Starmer in the letter published in the Sunday Times that she is quitting Labour. So Rosie Duffield stars, Dear Keir, but I don't call him Sir, is the political martyr of the Labour Party. Usually letters like this begin it with a heavy heart. Mine has been increasingly heavy and conflicted and has longed for a degree of relief. I can no longer stay a Labour MP under your management of the party. And this letter is my notice that I used to resign the Labour Party whip with immediate effect. Now, this letter is in full, so this is the bit that I think is worth highlighting. Rosie Duffield says, I now have no confidence in Keir Starmer's commitment to deliver the so-called change he promised during the general election campaign and the changes we have been striving for as a political party for over a decade. Rosie Duffield says her values are those of a democratic socialist Labour Party. And she has been elected 3 times to act on those values on behalf of her constituents. Canterbury made history when its voters elected their first woman and only non-conservative MP since the seat was created in the 13th century. Well, that's a lot of centuries, isn't it? Rosie Duffield's constituents elected an independent-minded MP who vowed to put constituency before party and to keep tackling the issues that most affect us in Canterbury. The Brexit fallout, funding for our universities, our desperately struggling East Kent National Health Service, a dire housing situation, repeated sewage pollution, and protecting our vital green spaces. Rosie Duffield says that she is confident that she can continue to do so as an independent MP guided by her core Labour values. Sadly, the Labour Party has never shown any interest in her wonderful constituency in the 7 years that she has been in Parliament. but she is proud of her constituency. I'll read that again. But she is proud of her community and will continue to serve it to the best of her ability. Her constituents care deeply about social issues such as child poverty and helping those who cannot help themselves. She will continue to uphold those values as she pledged to do when she first stood before them for election in 2017. Rosie Duffield had joined the Labour Party when she was a 17-year-old. So since she joined, Labour has always been her natural political home. She was elected as a single mom, a former teaching assistant in the seat of tax credits. The Labour Party was formed to speak for those of us without a voice, and she stood for election partly because she saw decisions about the lives of those like her being made in Westminster by only the most privileged few. Right now, she cannot look her constituents in the eye and tell them that anything has changed. She hopes to be able to return to Labour in the future when it again resembles the party she loves, putting the needs of the many before the greed of the few. Well, there is a whole list of there is this other spread. Well, because it's a broadsheet, it's more than twice the size of the tabloid. Here is a 2,000 word essay on our infrastructure failings and how to fix them. In the talk of Westminster, here it is its authors Ben Southwood, Samuel Hughes, and Sam Bowman explain what's going wrong. Transport, housing, energy, investment. Let's see what they're saying in that essay about housing. In the 19th and early 20th centuries, housing in Britain improved at an extraordinary rate. The average house price went from about 12 times average incomes in the 1860s to about 5 times on the cusp of the Second World War. This was driven by massive house building. At times, we added 3% to our housing stock each year, equivalent to about 750,000 homes in a single year today. But you see, this is the thing that all these newspapers, including the letter by Rosie Duffield and the article about Wahid Ali by Oliver Shah, all of these are in the Sunday Times today, 29th of September 2024. These are completely, absolutely topical, but at the same time, they're completely, absolutely shallow and stupid. Now, here is my description and definition of shallow and stupid. For example, taking the case of the housing. Housing as a crisis is caused not by some kind of mysterious, unidentifiable force. The housing crisis, in the largest possible numbers, is caused by local councils, local elected borough councils, which are staffed by crooks with crooks for corrupt purposes. Take the case of the East London Borough of Newham. Newham Council is fronted by the elected mayor, Roxana Fayaz, who is absolutely dishonest. But if she were the only dishonest one on the council, that would be understandable. What is not understandable is that the entirety of the elected lot of councillors are crooks and liars under various excuses. So it's impossible to get any real audit and accountability about the resource being applied to housing from crooked councillors who don't have the morality, don't have the actual drive for transparency to demand full disclosure about what is happening to the money, to the resources, to the housing stock, and to the actual meeting of the needs of the people who most need the best possible standards of housing now. People are being denied housing, and a pile up, a long list of needs of housing being allowed to degenerate to uncontrollable list as a weight, as a bargaining counter by the local borough council against the central government treasury. Because there are more people in desperate need of housing there are, it is considered more powerful as an argument to get more money from the UK central government treasury, and so on. That is wrong. That is corrupt to the core. Every single part of it is corrupt. Why the council is able to do this is because there is no acceptance by parliament, there is no acceptance by government, there is no acceptance by civil service, there is no acceptance anywhere at any stage in the judiciary or in the academic areas about the fact that housing, like basic utilities like water, must be a basic right. Housing, access to decent standard of housing and actually delivered housing must be treated as a human right of universal standard, which is not the case. But that's the only way that housing can be begun to be addressed properly. And there is no sign whatsoever that this current government, fronted by the political murder of the Labour Party, Keir Starmer, will ever deliver housing as an answer to most people. So this is the end of this particular edition. 13 minutes, just over 13 minutes, just under 14 minutes. And this is ending at 14:16 hours GMT.